Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we're live on Love 99.5 FM and over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions, including KTU Radio in Koforidua, ATL FM in Cape Coast, Sky FM in Takrade, A1 Radio in Bogatanga. You can also listen live on your Spotify and myjoyonline.com app. In this edition, let us address this dangerous insecurity trend in West Africa before it affects the whole region. President Akufo-Addo to members of states of ECOWAS as a regional body meets in Accra to find a lasting solution to the insecurity trend in the sub-region.
We need to stand firm to protect democracy and freedom in our region.
A security analyst is warning any further sanctions against Mali, Guinea and Burkina Faso will worsen the already dire situation. We have details of that and investigate and deal with illicit campaign financing, the charge of anti-corruption campaigners to the special prosecutor as it emerges about 9 people engaged in galamsey and other illegal activities funded some political parties and candidates in the 2020 polls.
In normal circumstances, security agencies and whatnot should be investigating, bringing this people to book. And these people are now funding political parties. That's dangerous. And so, if the special prosecutor is so minded, they should get into looking at this matter and giving us some feedback.
We have details of renewed calls for a total review of Ghana's campaign financing regime, which is largely unregulated and loose.
We need the laws to be in place, but we need to broaden it. For instance, if you look at advanced democracies such as America, there is a certain threshold that people cannot go beyond if you are funding a political.
Also this afternoon, Ghana Revenue Authority says it has the systems in place to begin implementation of the controversial electronic levy if it is passed by Parliament.
For us in GRA, we have to actually put in place a system so that when it is passed, it doesn't become a surprise. So we are doing house, cleaning.
Meanwhile, the IMF says it is ready to step in if Ghana files for assistance following shortfall in government revenue.
The fund in the email maintained that it stands ready to support the country in any way deemed useful to government.
But government, however, insists going to the IMF is not an option.
If one casa able to initiate policy internally to ensure that enco IMF, but able raise revenue in-house, no optional order aban or consider.
Also this afternoon, Asin North MP James Jechikwe is in charge with forgery and deceit of a public officer over allegations he failed to declare his dual nationality status to the Electoral Commission. We have details of that. Also in the High Court, National Labour Commission and UTAC to resolve the dispute over the strike by university teachers within 1 week. And in sports,
former Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, Abraham Sandara, has thrown his weight behind Otto Addo to be named the next Black Stars coach. We have details in 20 minutes.
And much later, I'll tell you all about my partner, my treasure promotion as we gear up for Valentine's Day.
Treasure, that is what you are.
I have details of all that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa Apawu. Many thanks for choosing us. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Thanks for staying with us. Let's settle for details. And the call is, let us address this dangerous security threat collectively and decisively before it affects us all. That's President Akufo-Addo's warning to member states of ECOWAS as a regional body deliberates on ways to stop the insecurity in the West African sub-region. The military takeover in Burkina Faso last week is the latest, coming after similar ones in Mali and Guinea, not to talk about the attempted one in Guinea-Bissau. The meeting today will seek answers to the issues foiling these agitations. Opening the extraordinary summit, President Akufo-Addo, is also the chairman of ECOWAS, indicated the bloc will do all within its powers to bring to an end the menace of coup.
Let us address this dangerous trend collectively and decisively before it devastates the whole region. Excellencies, the resurgence of coup d'etats in our region is a matter of grave concern. This evolution challenges the democratic way of life we have chosen. We need to stand firm to protect democracy and freedom in our region. You'll recall that during our virtual summit held on the 28th of January 2022, we suspended Burkina Faso from participating in ECOWAS's institutions and requested the immediate release of President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore, who was detained alongside other political actors. During our summit, we reaffirmed our commitment to upholding the principle of zero tolerance for ascending to power through unconstitutional means, and therefore demanded an immediate restoration of constitutional order by the military. To assess more accurately the security and political situations in Burkina Faso, we agreed to dispatch 2 missions, respectively, the Committee of ECOWAS Chiefs of Defense Staff, led by the Ghanaian Chief of Defense Staff, on Saturday, 30th January 2022, and a joint ministerial delegation led by the chairperson of the Council of Ministers, the Ghanaian Foreign.
That's the President Akufo-Addo. The Presidential Affairs Correspondent Elton Brobe is at the summit. He joins us live. Elton, what are the other issues up for discussion?
So, Emefa, there's also Mali and there's also Guinea. So the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, is presenting a report on the political situation in Mali. Remember that the military regime in Mali was given up to November of last year to return the country to constitutional rule. Now, they have indicated that it will require at least 5 years before that can be done. And that led to the sanctions, including travel restriction, the freezing of their accounts, and others. And then Guinea also, there was a ministerial committee that was sent there to assess the situation, led by Ghana's Foreign Minister, Shelia Yokoboche. She also led another team to Burkina Faso over the weekend to also assess the situation. So these 3 reports are up for discussion. And it will be after the discussions that the leaders will come to an informed decision on the way forward. But as President Akufo-Addo indicated, they will be looking at going beyond the norm in terms of the roadmap that has always informed the decisions of ECOWAS, and to take a firm stand to ensure that they are able to deal with this coup that is taking over West Africa once and for all.
So, the Presidential Affairs Correspondent Elton Brobe there. Meanwhile, a security analyst Adib Sani is warning any further sanctions will make the already bad situation worse.
And Africa has never seen this since 1999. Last year, we had 4 successful coups. Unfortunately, ECOWAS is losing legitimacy. The sanctions regime is not working. They are not respected. Soldiers decide to take over the reins of power without recourse to what ECOWAS thinks about it. So I think it is important that ECOWAS rethinks on its templates.
And ECOWAS, just like AU or the UN, cannot directly be seen to be interfering in the internal politics of these countries. At best, what they can do is to institute sanctions, condemn the acts, and then find ways to return these countries to constitutional rule. So really, what more can they do beyond?
The sanctions regime, it goes without saying, doesn't affect the ruling class. It is the people. A lot of these countries are grappling with Al-Qaeda and ISIS-affiliated groups. So when we sanction, we are emboldening these groups, and this would pose an existential threat to the security of the wider West African sub-region, because the historical and cultural closeness of the countries makes it very common for a spillover effect to happen. So it is in the interest of ECOWAS to ensure there is peace and security in Mali and these other countries.
Well, that's Adib Sani, security analyst. Let's turn our attention to the local front, the political scene right here. And Asin North MP James Jachikwesing has been slapped with charges including forgery and perjury by the Attorney General's office. He's also accused of deceiving a public officer and knowingly making a false declaration in his nomination forms to the Electoral Commission. The High Court in July last year annulled the Asin North parliamentary elections following accusations Mr. Kwesing failed to declare his dual nationality status at the time of filing to contest the Asin North not parliamentary seat. I'll take you to Parliament shortly, where the minority leader is addressing a press conference on this particular development. But first, let's talk about the criminal proceedings today in court. And court correspondent Joseph Akable joins me in studio. Joseph, run us through the charges and how the AG's office explains these crimes allegedly took place.
So according to the AG's office, on 26 July 2019, the MP signed a passport application form in which he indicated he is a Ghanaian and does not have a dual citizenship. They say he held Canadian citizenship at the time and he failed to declare. And so he was issued with a Ghanaian passport on the basis of that particular declaration he had made on the application form. Now, they say that between the 5th and 9th of October, he filed his nomination to contest the elections, even though he had not received a renunciation certificate for his Canadian citizenship. This, they say, came 48 days after he had made that declaration. And so this is the basis for the charges that have been leveled against him: deceit of public officer. There is also the charge of forgery of passport or travel certificate, knowingly making a false declaratory statement, and false declaration for public office, and also perjury.
Okay, so, but the MP was not present in court. We understand prosecutors are unable to locate him.
Yes, in fact, they say the police CID have been trying to contact him to inform him of the court date today. The AG's office has also been making efforts. They say they actually contacted his lawyers to inform him, but they are unable to reach him. And so that is what it's by way of the efforts to reach him. And so the court declared that, the court indicated that because of that, they should have the matter return on February 9.
Well, I'll take you to Parliament now, and the minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, is addressing a press conference on this particular development.
Competent courts, whether Honorable James Casey was qualified to stand as an MP, is a question of law, which is pending before the Court of Appeal. And by all standards, it stands next to the Supreme Court in terms of judicial hierarchical appeal, and by all standards, it stands next to the Supreme Court in terms of judicial hierarchical authority and mandate. Before the Court of Appeal, KEPCOs, as well as the Supreme Court, in various suits, also an application for stay of execution of the KEPCOs High Court's annulment as sin of parliamentary election filed by Honorable Question is still pending before the Court of Appeal. Under the circumstances, the lawful and reasonable thing for the Ghana police, the ruling New Patriotic Party government, and their surrogates to do is to abide by the decision of the Court of Appeal on these processes as their modicum contribution to the respect for the principles of rule of law. Any attempt by the police to prosecute Honorable James Question on the conclusion or assumption that he was not or is not qualified to contest the 2020 parliamentary election, pending a final decision by the Superior Court, is only prejudicial of the Court of Appeal and therefore contemptuous of the Court of Appeal and an obvious disrespect to the rule of law and the rule to respect an independent arbiter of the judiciary. It is obvious that the desperate Akufo-Addo government, the Attorney General Office, and the police administration are acting in bad faith to get an unfair advantage in Parliament for the Nana Akufo-Addo Bawumia government in its unbridled quest to pass the unpopular insensitive A levy, which remains a major disincentive to the development of our digital economy and an apparent disregard for their own quest for a cash-light economy. We don't want to believe, neither do we want to accept, that they want to use the courts to tilt the balance of power. What the people of Ghana decided in December 2020 was to vote for a balanced hung parliament of 137.
country. So,
You had the excerpts of that press conference being addressed by the minority leader Haruna Idrisu in Parliament following the court's decision on the Asing North MP James Jachikwe saying there have been concerns that the minority, amongst others, are raising. They've already mentioned that it's more like a grand scheme by government to keep the MP out of Parliament, such that when they have to vote on the controversial electronic levy, the minority side will not have the numbers. But speak of e-levy, the International Monetary Fund has indicated its readiness to extend support to Ghana if it gets a request from government. That was in response to an email sent to the fund over calls for government to subscribe to seek an IMF support to help stabilize the economy. I'll tell you more about that shortly on this, but the Ghana Revenue Authority today has been speaking about this particular situation and telling us about their preparedness on it. But George Wiafe has the rest of the story.
The fund in the email maintained that it stands ready to support the country in any way deemed useful to government, but however noted that this must be based on a formal request by government. The IMF also stated that the authorities in Ghana have not made any request for a program, as in behind-the-scenes discussions. There are rumors making round that as a Plan B strategy, this administration is looking at the option of going to the IMF should plans seeking Parliament's approval for the e-levy delay or doesn't fall through. Government, on the other hand, is pushing back calls for it to go for an IMF program, insisted it has what it takes to deal with the current challenges. Some economists have also argued that going to the IMF might not just be about the financial package that it offers, but rather the assurance that it gives investors and the country's development partners about things turning around quickly, as government cannot do it alone in dealing with the current challenge.
Well, Joy Business Editor George Wiafe joins me in studio. So you sent this particular email to the International Monetary Fund. Tell us more.
So just trying to get some clarity in respect to whether the fund itself was willing to extend any support to us if the request is made today. And together with other sort of questions that I sent to them, the explanation is that, they are prepared. So always has to do with the fund program. A request has to be generated from the other country. It's not a situation where the fund, together with the other development partners, can force government to come for a program. So, as it has always been the situation, and just for all other members in the club, if government or Ghana should put a request that they want XYZ, they would come in and do the assessment and then offer the assistance to Ghana. So it's not a situation where they can force Ghana because there have been calls that the fund should come in, DP should come in, investors should come in to force the country to sign up to the program.
Okay. Well, government has also indicated that going to the IMF is not an option for now, even though the IMF is ready to offer that support. During a town hall to discuss the levy in the Western region yesterday, Deputy Minister for Energy, Andrew Ejapamesa, emphasized, despite calls by some economists, an IMF program is not on the table.
IMF yakoda solutions wasn't made na yenim. But catch there, cut public sector expenditure, social investments reduce. Skawdebo mo biaso or ya bossa baba ka debt no abeden able to account. And see if you know all this, now one kasa able to initiate policy internally to ensure that enco IMF but able raise revenue in-house. No optional order aban or consider.
Well, as these discussions continue, the Ghana Revenue Authority has indicated its readiness to start implementing the e-levy should they be giving the green light. Assistant Commissioner at the Revenue Authority, Dominic Knapp, made this known on the Super Morning Show.
For us in GRA, we have to actually put in place a system so that when it is passed, it doesn't become a surprise. So we are doing house, cleaning. So assuming it is passed, what do we do? Are you getting? That's what we are doing. So
I'm sure Ghanaians will like the assuming it is passed more than the when it is.
Yeah, no, but see, let's also. We are in. This is our country. This is the only country that we have. So whatever we need, if people have other suggestions, they should bring it on board, and I'm sure government will be interested.
That's an Assistant Commissioner of the Ghana Revenue Authority, Dominic Knapp, there on the Super Morning Show. Now investigate and deal with illicit campaign financing. That's the charge of corruption campaigners, the special prosecutor, following revelation that some persons allegedly funded political parties and candidates in the 2020 election with illegally obtained monies. A CDD report released just yesterday said 9 persons engaged in galamsey and other criminal activities doled out millions of cedis to support the electoral bid of politicians in anticipation of receiving juicy contracts.
The third, as key assumption was that
some of them may be engaged in illicit activities, and so they would fund campaigns so that they would get protection. And we found that for the genuine financiers, that is people who are just in the business, it's a business, they give you money, they get it back from you. Many of it, you would find that when you go to the contracts that are given out after an election, sole sourcing, you track it.
But the two main political parties say they cannot confirm their sources of funds for campaign. Listen to General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Asiedun Ketia, and former campaign manager of the NPP, Peter McMeno.
No, it's not something we are aware of, but I agree with him that we should strengthen the institutional framework of monitoring campaigns. For example, he said something about who paid the money, what was it used for. All these things must come out in the returns that we submit to the Electoral Commission. So we need to deepen the conversation with the Electoral Commission on campaign funding.
I don't know whether I'll be able to actually say with some certainty, because nobody comes to offer funding and tells you that I'm engaged in human sacrifice or anything. You understand? The person may come and offer, and usually that is what they will be doing. It is only when you come to power that somebody will come and say that, well, this person, this business, help us with it and so on. So nobody will come and disclose that I kill human beings or I'm a terrorist, so I'm coming to finance your party. Nobody will accept that type of funding. So,
well, this stark reality has raised serious concerns about the integrity of campaigns organized by political parties ahead of elections. Let's do an independent assessment of Ghana's Political Parties Act by the Joy Research Desk. It revealed that several other loopholes are in there. Head of the research desk, Raymond Nakwa, joins me in studio with more. Raymond, what were the findings of this independent assessment by the desk?
So if you look at the Political Parties Act, political party funding is restricted to Ghanaian citizens or Ghanaian-owned companies, but the law does not expressly prohibit the use of public funds for party or campaign activities. In fact, the law also fails the disclosure standards established in established democracies. There are also no limits placed on contributions or spending, contrary to the international principle of ensuring that voters' free choice is not undermined by disproportionate spending on behalf of a candidate or a party.
Okay, so it turns out the result of this study has been corroborated by some international election observer missions, especially to the 2022 elections, correct?
Yes, that's the EU's election observer mission. For example, it gives a recommendation that the Electoral Commission's political party oversight should be strengthened to promote compliance with legal and regulatory requirements regarding political finance. There's also one to do with the adoption of a law on campaign expenditure and finance to enhance the overall transparency and accountability of the space. This law, they insist, should include establishing disclosure requirements of incomes and expenses for both parties and candidates, and limits on expenditure and donations, including those in kind donations. There's also the need for greater oversight, sanctions, and enforcement mechanisms that include a timely publication of all campaign finance reports, including those that can be put online.
Well, there have been calls on the Special Prosecutor, Kessie Jabing, to investigate and prosecute persons behind it in terms of what the CDD has been revealing. We can hear from co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Edem Senanu.
What CDD has done is to raise a red flag and indicate that there are issues. There are issues with people who are engaged in illicit activities that, under normal circumstances, security agencies and whatnot should be investigating and bringing this people to book. And these people are now funding political parties. That's dangerous. And so, if the special prosecutor is so minded, the question is whether he has the funds he's been talking about and has a human resource. They should get into looking at this matter and giving us some feedback. Maybe they've not been. In terms of prioritization, that's absolutely right. I mean, this is something that has serious implications for our democracy. And so, yes, it should be one of those issues that could be prioritized.
That's Edem Senanu there. This is the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a quick break, but first, our top stories. We've been hearing from the minority leader as he announces that they will resist any legal attempt to reduce their numbers in Parliament. Assassin North MP James Jachikwesing is charged with forgery and deceit of a public officer over allegations he failed to declare his dual nationality status to the Electoral Commission ahead of the 2020 parliamentary elections. We've been looking at the ECOWAS Extraordinary Summit that's currently underway here in Ghana. When we return, we have sports, and then I'll tell you all about my partner, my treasure promotion.
This bulletin is live in the Volta region on Jubilee Radio Keta, Volta Premier and Kekali Radio in Ho, Lolonyo FM in Hohoi, Pando FM in Pando, Fafa Radio in Joje, Radio Hogba in Angloga, Klenam Radio Bato, Victory FM Aplao. In the Eastern region, we're on K Poly Radio in Koforidia. In the Northern region, we're on Bishara Radio, Radio 123 and Radio Justice in Tamale. And in Savannah region, we're on Inkelege FM in Bole. In the Upper East region, we're live on A1 Radio and Dreams FM in Bogatanga and Radio Fumbese in Fumbese. In Upper West, we're live on Radio Sunmale in Wa, Radio Freed in Nandom, Radio Wa in Wa, and Bolu FM in Bolu. In the Bono East region, we're on Gaskia FM in Techiman. In Bono region, we're on Sky FM and Parrot FM in Sunyai. Central region, we're live on ATL FM in Cape Coast. And in the Western region, we're on Radio Max in Takrady.
Thanks for choosing us. This is the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM. We have sports, and we have a decision.
Not yet, but former Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association, Ibrahim Sanidara, has backed the current administration to appoint Dortmund scout trainer Otto Addo as Black Stars coach. He says that Otto Addo is better placed to lead the Black Stars because he was part of the technical team with Milovan Rajvac.
The wisest thing the GFA can do is to look for somebody that knows the squad, that knows the players, has worked with the players, knows the psyche of Ghanaian players, and can move to stabilize the team in the midst of this outing at the AFCON that has not impressed all of us, so that we can go with a strong face-to-face Nigeria. Otto Addo ticks all the boxes. He's currently the assistant coach of the national team. To a lot of the players in the team he has directly worked with. Now, I tell you one thing that a lot of Ghanaians don't know. Ghana's biggest result at the 2014 World against Germany.
Ibrahim Sanidara, former Communications Director of the Ghana Football Association.
Yeah.
The politics is still happening. We expect to see the GFA president tomorrow. He will hold meetings with some government officials and will have an official position.
Okay, we'll see how it goes, whether it will be Chris Hilton or Otto Addo. Well, over 50 wooden structures serving as shops for wood dealers have been razed down by fire at Akwetia Line in the Asokore Mampo municipality in Kumasi. The cause of the fire is yet to be established, but police say residents are alleging the burning of wood waste in the area caused the fire. Let's listen to Mohammed Awal Tahiru. He's a victim, and others who spoke to Insura News.
I came from home, and a certain woman shouted that there is fire, there is fire. That was all what I saw. But we called fire service. For almost 2 hours, nobody stepped here. Nobody. They even came with empty car, without water. Yeah, they left with an excuse that they are going to fetch water. My fear is that even a common fire service cannot quench. How much more we have even given our lives, rescue to add to the fire service. Whereby they cannot even quench a common fire. Millions of Ghana cedis. I cannot recount what loss here. What losses we have gotten here.
Again, so I never fire service for no Musi Omumba. Omusi Yatikios and Tiomumba. Bakuna Odi Kaba Hassan and so on. Yana protect your own sir.
Get the bucket. And
well, we can hear from the divisional commander, Mainshia Divisional Police Commander ACP Kweku Bwa.
Ghana has been here for about 1 hour. They can't have access to the fire base where the fire started. Why don't you blame the person who started the fire? Because I know education has been going on and on, that around this time, you don't set fire to anything. These are the tenders we are all seeing. They can't have access to the place. So the best they can do is to use the tube to try and get to the place. And just look at this area. Too congested for even Pragia to go through.
And it's time for Tech Thursday, and Ghana is one of the countries with the highest levels of sunshine in sub-Saharan Africa, with between 150 hours to 250 hours of sunshine per year. One teenager is tapping into this resource to build a scooter for disabled people. Justice Bedu has the rest of the story.
My name is Samuel Abwadri. I'm a 17-year-old boy. I attend school at Agri Road PSS.
Samuel is a genius. At 17, he has wowed many building devices from cheap and reusable materials.
The Bluetooth device is ready to pair.
I live in Tema. You see, the community is very dirty, and also it's full of plastic and other things. So I want to build a company that will help the youth and also to reuse the plastic to make something.
He has made a scooter, a refrigerator, a Bluetooth speaker, and many, many more, using stuff as basic as a Kofor gallon.
Some of the children, they use the gallons to play around, and when they get to your windows, they will lift. So I decided to do a Bluetooth speaker with the gallon so that it cannot be found in the gallons around environment and others.
Well, so that's 17-year-old Samuel, the genius there. And it's time for Showbiz, but I'm excited about Showbiz today because Valentine's Day is around the corner.
Yeah.
And my treasure, my partner, my treasure promotion. Mapritso, tell us about
All right,
it.
so Joy FM is running a My Treasure, My Partner promotion. And to be part of it, simply follow these steps. Send us a photo of you and your partner. You add your name, your contact number, what you both do, and state whether you're married or dating. And then send it via WhatsApp to 055 1111997. So it's 055 111199.7, and my partner, hashtag my partner, my treasure, will call you and will share the story with us live. So Valentine is coming.
Where is your boyfriend?
Yeah, sitting on radio. Lonely.
Mapito, get out of here. But Friday, February 4th is World Cancer Awareness Day, and we here at the Multimedia Group are excited to be making available 125 mammogram vouchers for our female audiences from the age of 40 and beyond. We'd like you to go have a mammogram to ensure that your breasts are very healthy. Your breasts must be healthy and cancer-free. The vouchers will be giving away on the 4th and 5th of February 2022 across all our platforms: Joy FM, Joy News, Hits FM, Joy Prime, Love FM, Adum FM, Adum TV, and Asempa FM. And that's it for the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. I am MFA Apau. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor Mental Tobel. Up next. Please stay.
Business no a bit news to say. So the projections from the first quarter show a higher total gross profit for the fiscal year. A bit me kasa saying, Nana, goods not land you. He did a